A new Death Note has just been released with Dev Kagura's response. Let's check it out.
7K Dreamer please.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. The moment has come and Dev Kagura has finally responded to the outcry of many players. Let me just say I'm actually not convinced in general that the direction we are heading is the right one, and I'm also annoyed with some things in the Death Note, so let's just jump into it. He addresses the huge concern about the drop rates of Gyarados, saying that it is a result that many players find the game too easy. There was little variation in hero acquisition between players because of farming for rubies for a long time, so he wanted to give players a clear difference to get heroes so that hardworking players will feel rewarded. Hence, Gyarados came at a higher cost. Now, before I go on, this really made me quite turned off. As a veteran, I know I have tons and tons of rubies ahead of players who do not have time to farm. So yes, getting heroes to level 50 in less than 3 hours was considered normal. But the whole premise of a game being too easy should not be faulted on hero acquisition. Why should a game be made harder by making heroes harder to get? This is a hero gacha game, for goodness sake. Why are you making it difficult for players to acquire heroes to this extent? Which player actually complained about heroes being too easy to get? They only said heroes were easy to build, and this was even before Mythical Awakening happened. And no to the statement that says players who put in effort to ruby farm will get rewarded. This is so unfair. I spend every day looping adventure, earning my way after each new hero back to 70,000 rubies on average, yet I have to deplete so much resources just for this one hero, and is my hard work rewarded proportionally? What clear difference between players will there be when a gacha system is based on luck instead of actual hard work? If you wanted to reward players for hard work, then make actual dungeons and events that players need to complete to earn their Gyarados. And going by that logic to begin with, if you wanted players with many rubies to feel rewarded, then why even double the cost of the gacha when the rates are already so low? He goes on to say the price is fine, but players who used a lot of rubies still couldn't get him, and the purchase cap for Gyarados was lower than usual. So these are problems? Fine. So he suggests to have synthesis to get the next 7 Nights of Old so that players who have extra Gyarados can get Melia easily, and also increase the package purchase limit. Oh my goodness, what on earth are these solutions? Firstly, you are telling players to suck it and continue wasting rubies on Gyarados. Here we have players who can't even get more than 1 or 2 copies already leaving the game, and your solution is to help players who actually have extra Gyarados to trade in. Wow, how does that even make sense? And secondly, you are telling players to suck it for the second time and just resort to buying the hero if they really want them. I don't even know what to say. How are these solutions for the wider player base? I already said casual players will not spend no matter what, but here we have more of this. I know the game needs money, but really, I'm gonna just leave you guys to comment about this below. I can't go on talking about it because it's absolutely disappointing. The next part is about a potential Eileen remake. Now I know that Eileen's passive and overall skill set look pretty uninteresting. I never actually thought it bothered players that much, especially with her effect attack being picked on as being identical to Noah's. So yes, I mean if she is ultimately getting something more unique, that's good, but for a strange reason, Noah is also being remade and so is Scoot. There's clearly some lolly biasness going on with this Kagura. I mean, why Scoot? Why don't Truth and Freya and Mercure and Palinus deserve a remake more? I don't get the train of thought at all. One reason I can think of is because these are recent heroes, which also means returning and new players have lesser possibility of having them completely built, so this benefits top players and veterans more. Scoot and Noah are already in selectors, but they were only added a few weeks ago, so I think this is another way that they are trying to actually widen the PvP gap. Then we come to Pet Awakenings. First issue is the lack of active skills, and the main reason is that this could make battles complicated. Hang on, didn't players complain that the game was becoming too easy, so now you are worried about the game getting complicated? This is just double standard. Why can't we have an interesting PvP system with an even wider range of mechanics? Why can't we have a game which allows for variation to actually promote and encourage players to think about what and who they want to use? And then Dev Kagura says they wanted to release Pet Awakening sooner, so active skills were scrapped. Come on, these animations were already available from the Korea server, and we did give Death Spike an entire year to roll it out. Do you mean to say these were actually not planned to be released until you took over? I don't know why it feels like this, but it seems to me me that there's a lot of excuses. First, players were so-called blamed because they complained that the game got too easy, so hero acquisition was apparently, logically, supposed to be harder, when the true reason is that the game just needed more money from players, so the easiest way was to attract them to buy the hero directly. And even for pets, because players have waited for so long, so it was decided that a half-baked system would be released. Anyway, second part of the Pet Awakening issue is the RNG factor. It is supposedly in place to provide differentiation like Gyarados, but we already have item polishing and accessory upgrading as part of the differentiation. And not surprisingly, like I said, they were bound to come up with ways to farm pet essence, but it's very weird that he said we will try when it should be a must. We will see how this goes. There's just too many things to farm in the game right now, and all those important things all have an RNG factor, which really doesn't feel encouraging. Dev Kagura also mentions a new growth system in May which will purely rely on effort and not RNG. I wonder what that could be. Hopefully not hero shards, which Korea server has. And the last part of the dev notes, he reveals Mist is coming out this week and she will have a brand new skill effect and also be a hero with a unique skill set. There will also be guild rate changes which I do not need to elaborate too much about. So after going through this and hearing my thoughts, what are your own thoughts about the system to come? Let me know in the comments. I'll be looking forward to Mist for sure. Stay tuned for more guides. Thank you so much and see you!